But
Maybe
like
I should have had kids. At least I wouldn't have made idiots.
Oh, you can just go rent one.
I'm not going to rent a kid. Can you just rent one?
No, they're called fosters.
Oh.
Hello, America. It's time to check the nonsense at the door, clear the cobwebs between your ears, and have a rational-ish conversation. This is the lost art of common sense.
That's right, America. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Josh.
And this is the lost art of common sense. Today we'll be talking about gun control / mental illness.
Again.
Yeah, because I think we need to. Because people are getting all up in arms again about gun restrictions and assault weapons bans and, things like that. And we want to kind of talk about how guns aren't really the problem, but people are the problem. Like everything else in the world, people suck. And they ruin everything. So,
yeah.
Josh, let's start this off. What are your thoughts on gun control? Should there be any?
Not for law-abiding citizens, no.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, and I've been saying for a while too that if somebody, it depends on what you get arrested for. If you have a felony because you have a violent gun thing, or I don't know. Like, I think anyone who goes to prison, serves their time, is on probation, and they're off paper, they should get all their rights back at least once. Because I don't think that's right. If, like, say someone does something stupid as a kid, and then they grow up and live a law-abiding life, why they shouldn't have the rights back. Now, if you're a violent, I've seen some, because we watch a lot of ID, and there's some fucked up sentences for people that like gruesomely murder people, and they'll be like, well, you get 20 years. Like, that person should not ever have their rights given back to them.
Yes, I agree. I think if you're a nonviolent offender, I think in some states you can write to the governor and try to get your rights back.
Yeah, I think almost anybody can fill something out to get it back.
I think it's got to be so long after, though.
But I just feel like if you've served your time and you've served your time, you're paid your dues to society, you're off paper, and it feels, as long as you're staying out of trouble.
Yes, even in New York, where they, let violent offenders go.
Those people didn't serve their time; they were never punished.
I know,
and you can't legally have a gun there anyway.
You can, but super hard.
But here's the thing, though: like, gun control doesn't work. Like, it doesn't work.
No,
like, if it did, there wouldn't be any gun violence in Chicago. Like, I guarantee you, if they made it easier to own guns in Chicago, and like everybody had a gun, I guarantee you the murder rate would go down.
I don't know, because
now there might be a slight spike to begin with.
Yeah,
but it would go down.
I don't know, because a lot of that is gang member violence. I mean, not all of it, but I would say probably at least 60%.
Yeah, but just think about it. Like, someone goes in to rob a store, and everybody in there pulls a gun on the robber.
Yeah, and
now, the gang violence I don't think would end, because that's more territorial and drug deals and stuff like that. But there's a shit ton of fucking, like, do you think people would be as brazen to break into a car, like, all these carjacking, so they go up and steal somebody's car, if they knew that, like,
the person in the car had a gun?
Yeah.
No, they would not do it.
Do you think road rage cases would be as bad if everybody had a gun?
No, I don't think so.
Like, the reason why, like, when I'm carrying, I don't worry about the other person. I'm just not going to get in a road rage thing because I'm carrying a firearm. Like, if I'm carrying my firearm, I go out of my way to avoid conflict.
What Crowder says is the best thing to stop a bad person with a gun is a good person with a gun.
Yeah, basic logic.
Yeah,
says that because that's exactly how they're all.
Yeah, exactly. So, what would you say to an anti-Second Amendment person? Like, we should just repeal the Second Amendment. I mean,
I'd say move to Canada or Australia.
That's a good thing. Yeah.
Like, this isn't the country for you.
No, and instead of trying to change this country, maybe you should change yourself or move to a country that more best fits your beliefs.
Yeah,
I'm not saying like get the fuck out, but if you're
I am.
if you're that deeply offended by guns, you're in the wrong country.
Like it or not, guns are part of our culture. It just is. Like we're a free nation. And here's the problem with being a free nation: there's always going to be an inherent danger when you have a free nation because people are free to be assholes.
Yeah,
Like, and you kind of have to. There's a certain amount of trust you have with that. Like with freedom, like yeah, if you want the government to lock you in your house, tell you exactly where you can and can't go, take all your weapons, give you all your sustenance, then yeah, you probably could be pretty safe. But you're not going to have a life. You're going to do exactly what you're told to do, and you're going to go exactly where you're told to go.
well, here's the thing: if you repeal the Second Amendment, what's to stop them from repealing the First, the Third, the Fourth?
No, the Second Amendment upholds all the other amendments.
Yeah, that's the reason. That's why it's the second one: freedom of speech and freedom of religion. Guns to make sure that those things are possible.
Yeah, and the First Amendment is actually there, I think, to prevent violence.
Yes.
Because that's when violence happens. When conversations stop, that's when violence kicks off.
You mean when people just start yelling?
Yeah, or like if you silence one person and can't let them, talk
Yep.
and speak, and you keep like coming down on them, that's when violence happens.
Yeah, when the government stops you from speaking your mind or protesting against the government, protesting, not rioting, protesting against the government, then you're basically living in a dictatorship.
Yeah, which we kind of feels sort of kind of.
It does sometimes.
Every now and again. Here's another thing about not the Second Amendment or gun control, but I think it was during the State of the Union where some of the Republican congressmen were like heckling the president, and McCarthy's like, looking at him like, no.
No.
Congress is representative of the people. I have no problem. I don't even care if Trump's up there.
I'd go up there and heckle.
Like, I don't care who it is.
Huh.
Like, now granted, you had to have some quorum so they can get through the speech, but it's like, if a dude's blatantly lying.
Yeah, like Biden was.
Yeah, call him out on it.
Yeah. You can't just let that shit slide through.
No, like, I have no problem with it. Now, if it's just like, now Trump would be different. They would just be assholes trying to keep him from, like, silencing him. Because it's always the side that says, like, you're being violent or you're not letting people talk. No, that's the left. So, I don't know.
You mean the people say, the certain groups fascist and when they're fascist? I mean, just in their beliefs.
Like, literally, this saying, like, whatever they accuse you of doing, they're doing themselves is exactly what the left's doing.
Yeah, and they have been for the last 8 years. Everything that they even charged Trump with, their impeachment stuff, is basically what they did.
Well, and they say, like, oh, it's a threat to democracy while they're literally tearing. Like, the one thing that kind of holds this country together is the judicial system or, like, our system of laws.
Yeah.
And now they're tearing that up. Like,
yeah, they're weaponizing the judicial system.
Yeah, so it's like, okay.
How long do you think it's going to be until they pack the courts?
Well, I bet they'll try. Well, they can't.
I don't think they can right now because they don't have the numbers.
Yeah, I think you need more than a 50-50 split to do that.
Yeah, that's not one of them executive orders that Biden's so keen to using.
No, he's stupid.
So
that was a rant.
Yeah. Why are AR-15s being targeted as a problem when they're only the cause of 2.3% homicides? And not just AR-15s. That's all rifles. All rifles across the board.
Yeah.
2.3% homicides are caused by a rifle. Less than fists and less than knives, less than handguns. More than shotguns, though.
Yeah. I think a lot of people can't handle shotguns.
No. They hurt your heart.
I would be interested to know if shotguns were higher back when rifles, ARs were illegal.
I don't know. I didn't look that up. Maybe I should have.
Because I was watching a thing on Columbine because of this, and they use shotguns and some kind of little carbine.
Well, people are always going to find something.
Oh, yeah, they'll find a way.
I mean, if it's not guns, it's going to be explosives.
The largest school mass murder, was in, 1927 or something in Bath, Michigan?
Yeah.
I think it was 38 kids were killed, and it was done by an explosive.
Yeah.
by a disgruntled worker.
People will always find a way because it's. Well, I mean, these school shootings. I mean, guns. I don't think the guns are the problem. Is it guns or mental illness?
No, it is mental illness. But to answer your actual question,
Oh, they are 15.
because I never did that. You just
Oh.
kind of skip right over it. It's two things. Well, it could be one of two things. It's optics, because the AR-15 is super badass looking.
It looks scary.
Which it does look scary to some people. It is a very capable weapon. But at the same time, for the true purest reason for the Second Amendment, a weapon like that would be one that you would probably want to go. Like, there's a reason why the military uses an AR style platform
Yeah.
for theirs. So, I mean, if you're going to try to disarm your people, that would probably be the one that you'd want to get rid of.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I mean, you can. I think there are like hunting style rifles that you can fit a 30-round mag in, though.
Yeah, there are.
They're no different. Like, their hunting rifles are way more precise and damaging than an AR-15.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like an AR-15, like, there's a reason why like the 5.56 is like a cheaper ammo. It's not like, Biden's like, oh, it's just massively, and it is it's basically a 22 moving 3,000 feet per second. Like, it's hauling ass.
Yeah.
So yeah, it does fuck some shit up, but it's not like, I think that round was actually designed because it maims. It maims, like, it doesn't, because it slows people down. Like, if you're going against somebody,
yeah, I think it's less likely to kill.
Yeah, depending on where you get hit, but like if you get shot in the shoulder, it'll tumble and stuff. So like it slows people down. So I thought I heard that somewhere.
It might be.
I
really don't know about that.
But it's just like that's what they picked, and I think it's a double-sided thing. It's scary looking, and it's in all the movies, and it is a capable rifle.
Yeah, but I mean the movies are always like fully automatic.
But if you were going to say they ever actually wanted to disarm and like put us under total totalitarian, rule, that would be much harder to do with, people actually having capable rifles.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's why I think.
And speaking on your bullet question, if you, the viewer or listener, know the answer, please comment and let us know. Also, like, subscribe, share, comment, review.
Yeah,
all that stuff. So
yeah, I would like to know. Like, I think I heard that someone is the 5.56 pick because actually it's not as lethal. Like, it's more for maiming than killing.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard that, but I mean, it could very well be true.
I mean, a 5.56 isn't going through military body armor.
No.
So, but you catch a dude in the shoulder, I mean, that can slow him down.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I wish I would remember where I heard that, because that would be cool to find out.
Yeah, and to my next question, the one I already asked, and I forgot to take your answer on the one previous.
Yeah, that was rude.
The school shootings. Obviously, there was just one in what was it at? Tennessee, Nashville. And one was just stopped today, Thursday, April 6th, in Colorado Springs, where a person
stopped before it happened.
Before it happened. So, should there be? I mean, are the guns the problem, or is it people and mental illness? Is that the problem?
Well, I've gone through this before. Like, guns are not the problem. It's an inanimate object. They're not whispering to their owner saying, "Hey, go shoot somebody." It's always like, if you were capable of killing a child or anybody, just randomly killing someone, you have a mental condition. It may be psychopathy, but you have an issue.
Yeah, absolutely. There's obviously a few screws loose, and usually there's precursors or warning signs that you're not mentally stable. And I'm not saying like there should be red flag laws, but people should really know when somebody's on close to a mental break. I mean, I'm assuming they have family and friends.
Yeah, well, all of these people, you go back and like, oh yeah, they said this or they said that, or they were acting really weird, or like her parents thought she got rid of all her guns and on this one, and it's like, I don't know. There's always, I don't, red flag
It's
laws
hard
are
to.
stupid, but because of the bullshit that happened in the 80s, now granted, I do know that there were stories of really jacked up shit happening to people in insane asylums, but it is very hard to get someone like help. Like,
Yeah.
back in the day, like I remember being as a kid, better start acting right or the people in the white coats are going to come get you. I heard that a couple times.
Well, I mean, instead of like we're not doing treatment, and a lot of time anymore, I think therapists like lean into their mental illness instead of trying to help them through it. I mean,
Well, that's exactly what they do with this transgender shit.
then I were, and I think people like in the mental illness or mental like whatever the illness like helping people. I think they rely too much on drugs and not enough on social interactions and talking to the person, finally actually figuring out what's wrong with them and if they are capable of harming themselves or others.
Well, and that's another thing that nobody ever talks about. Like, I mean, you could argue that there's been an uptick in mass shootings since they uh, closed down all these asylums and started introducing all these drugs into
No.
kids. There's something wrong with our youth, though. Not all of them, but there's a mass amount of our youth that spends all their time playing video games.
Well,
on their
social media, I
phone.
think, is not helping the mental.
Oh yeah, they're on social media and they're like these empty shills to where if they're not online, there's nothing to them. They have no self worth. They have no sense of achievement. So they search for something. Like the one guy, J.C. Spears, was saying about that. Suicide is like when you're depressed and like is the ultimate way of getting away from yourself because you're unhappy with yourself and where you're at. And I mean, I don't know if he's right or not, but it kind of makes sense for like all these people that are these empty vessels waiting to be filled with whatever bullshit they're hearing at school.
Or
If they're
watching
not-
on TikTok or.
I mean, you got to think if you don't have any feeling of self worth or accomplishment or anything, you're probably a pretty miserable person.
Yeah,
And
you
you
would think so.
and if you get to where you don't like yourself, well, then people are like, well, maybe you're supposed to be a girl or supposed to be a boy. So that it could just be another way of them not being themselves.
Yeah.
And then it's not really taking care of the problem, especially when they go to the doctor. And instead of this affirming care bullshit, is there a affirming clinic for schizos?
No.
Where they go in, it's like, yep, those voices are real.
Those voices are real, and you should lean into them.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I don't care what anybody does as an adult, what they want to do. Like, if you want to dress up, whatever. If you actually believe that you're a woman or you're a man and you were born the opposite one, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
There is a very small population of people that just seem to be wired that way, like, whatever. But, like, they used to go through treatment to find out, do you actually have this?
Yeah,
condition?
they used to actually talk it out instead
Now
of
it's like, yep.
You are, the first time they meet them, they're like, yeah, you should lean into it.
And they said most people, I was watching this video from this lady, and she was saying that most people pre 5 years ago was somebody's at the door.
Ding dong.
A delivery. We're all boys, young boys. And they would normally grow out of it. There's a very small, but then they normally end up growing to be gay or something. But that's what it was. That's what they found in the studies. And then all of a sudden, the mass amount of people now are groups of girls.
Yeah.
And that's why it's a social contagion. It's not real. And
Well,
then they're pushing it to keep it.
Well, I mean, the hard part on this, I mean, teenage girls are the most likely to kill themselves. It's a 30% rise since 2009 on suicides by, children. And that's a crazy stat. It might even be higher. I'm not sure. I thought it was 30%, but it might be as high as 50.
Didn't Instagram recently get in trouble because their algorithm kind of makes it to where it almost makes young girls feel bad about themselves?
Yes.
Like, didn't they recently get in trouble for that? Like, and people wonder, like, why we have this, like, depression and, like, this stuff. Because, like, I don't know. You just see, like, younger people nowadays look different. Like, they're, not all of them. There are some that have good parents.
Yeah.
And, like, but I don't know. There's just something.
It seems sad.
Yeah. And, like, because they don't know who they are.
No,
Without
and
like, there might be some people that are just like have a bunch of friends and they're super social on a video game, like when they're talking over there, because
yeah,
that's who they are. And as soon as they log off, that person
has
on the video
nobody.
game is gone.
Yeah, there's nobody there.
So it's like, well, I'm not really, Wolf Slayer 6000. I'm
You
blah blah blah.
You'll always be Wolf Slayer 6000 to me, Josh.
So many wolves.
So many slaves.
So
6,000 of them to be exact.
It's definitely a mental illness thing.
Yeah. So going to mental illness, should there be a check or like a questionnaire when you're buying a gun? You think, or
Well, technically there is.
yeah, but
I mean, they do ask you if you're like, I think if you're under mental care, if you're like, if you've been told you can't own a gun because of that. No, I don't. I think the only thing I would think is if you're undergoing treatment by a professional that doesn't think it's safe for you to own a firearm, and then that would be on that person to do it. But I mean, how are you going to do that without doing it to everybody? That's a slippery slope. I'd rather not have it than start down that road.
I agree. It's just, it's hard to know.
It all comes down. Granted, like it's different with like younger people and kids and stuff that are doing this shit because there are people that see them doing it. There are people around them that see they're being weird. Now, if you got some kind of recluse that lives on their own and nobody talks to, and they're like sitting there planning to be an asshole,
yeah, and
there's nothing.
They've never had anything
that
happen in their background.
Yeah, like the Vegas shooter, which I'm not 100% sure that guy did anything other than be a stooge. But like that would be the only instance. Like nobody notices. Like all these people have had like, oh yeah, they were real weird. They did this, they did that. They were saying this, they were saying that, but I didn't take them seriously.
Yeah, and I think you should take all, especially anymore. I mean, I think you should because, one, if somebody says they're going to probably shoot up a school, you should probably take that seriously. Or if they're going to harm somebody, you should probably take that seriously. I think part of the problem with these mass killings is the way they're glorified on the news. I mean, hell, this one didn't even.
Are they glorified on the news though? Because
they are. Because
like this last one was glorified in memes, and it wasn't very beneficial.
Well, except for the White House saying they're now trans are being attacked because
and they're not.
They didn't say Christian one time.
And trans aren't being attacked. That's not a thing.
No, I'm going to say this right now. There is no mass trans genocide. So
no, you know where they get that from?
Because
they're
won't let
calling
children.
It genocide because they're not allowing children to go through medical or
that's not genocide
transition.
If anything, it's genocide. It's them, pretty much destroying their.
Are you just saying that because the hormones make them sterile?
Yeah, so you're sterilizing yourself.
Yeah, I don't. That was weird too. Like that's what came out of that shooting.
That is weird.
It had nothing to do with it being a Christian school or the fact that we still haven't seen the manifesto. It's trans. I mean, I'm sure there's assholes out there.
The one that's got at Colorado Springs had a manifesto too. I bet you we never see that.
Yeah, there's another trans person who's going to shoot up a school. But it's like I'm sure there's assholes out there that harass. There's assholes that harass everybody. Doesn't matter who you are. It's nothing special.
Yeah,
there's some people that are just assholes.
We're not saying like all trans people are like mass murderers, but I mean, there's definitely a mental.
Well, and I'm not saying that people aren't getting picked on for being trans.
I don't know anymore. They're more celebrated now than ever.
No, I'm just saying, like, I've never seen it here, but to say, oh no, we are being persecuted. Okay, there may be some people somewhere that I haven't witnessed it.
Well, I'm sure everybody in every gender and race and culture and religion has been picked on.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't find one person that has never been picked on.
Yeah, so I mean, is it like this rampant thing?
No, it's a mental thing.
Especially from the 80s plus, like, there was a huge don't give a shit attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so that's why I don't buy into any of that shit. This was manufactured.
Yeah, all this, and it's still manufactured. I haven't really seen a trans hate crime. I mean, I'm sure
there's one out there.
Well, I mean, it's not mass though. You don't hear about it all the time.
No,
it might be one.
It would be all over the news.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not like they're being attacked. Usually, it's them yelling about being attacked. which they aren't. If anything, they're being celebrated.
I think there's that one guy in Canada he goes around with this
Billboard Bob.
Billboard Bob.
Or Billboard Bob. I can't remember.
And this one, not really selling it, transgender woman. I don't know how you say it. It was a guy dressed as a woman.
That's a trans woman?
And he got right up in his face and then like touched him. So he went to push him back a little bit. Man, he just jumped him.
Yeah.
And the cops were like, well, it was a mutual fight.
No, they said he started it. He instigated it.
No, well, yeah, but they didn't press charges on anybody. Oh,
because it's Canada, and anything anti-trans is hate speech.
Yeah, you can go to jail for up to 10 years. I think.
Yeah. So,
all you people move to Canada.
I wanna preface this question by saying, hey, watch us on Rumble. Get rid of your YouTube shit.
Yeah,
because
dumb.
There might be a chance because of this question we don't make it on YouTube. Should trans people be able to buy guns? Being trans was a mental illness, not but 5 years ago.
I mean, I don't know if that should be a precursor to buying a gun or not. That's up to a professional, I guess, because like it depends. If it's somebody that like is dealing with gender dysphoria, but they're not violent, they're just working through something. I mean,
I just don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't think this should be a law, but I think it should be up to a mental health, like a real mental health professional. Not, oh yeah, you can be a unicorn.
Yeah, but I mean, you go to a gun
go ahead
store
and screw this horn onto your head.
I mean, if you go to the gun store, a fucking gun owner will be like, "I'm gonna need to see a doctor's note."
See, that's kind of interesting. Like now, you can. I'm pretty sure. Well, they say that, but then you get boycotted and sued. But technically, any business has the right to refuse business to anybody.
Yeah.
So if somebody comes in, and that does kind of possibly come down to the gun store, a little bit of responsibility as far as if somebody comes in and looks deranged as shit, I might not want to sell them a gun.
I got a cake store owner to talk to you about.
I'm just saying, no, like, yeah, you should be able to refuse service to anyone, but then there's always caveats to everything. But like, if I was a gun store owner and someone came in looking deranged as shit,
yeah,
I would just be like, yeah, I just can't. I don't feel comfortable selling you guns.
Speaking of which, I stopped at Wendy's today, right, on the way over here. So I grabbed me a couple junior bacon cheeseburgers, which are still one of my favorites. But there was there was a crackhead in the parking lot, and he was cracked out. Oh. And he was like doing the Jesus pose. Then he took a step back. Then he took a step forward. Then he like turned around quick. It was like,
you gonna get me?
Yeah. Then he stepped back. Then he went back to the spot he was previously at and did the Jesus pose again. And I'm like, this guy's gonna stab me. This guy's gonna stab me.
Yeah. Because
he looked right at me, and I was like, oh no, because I'm laughing, kind of, you know. I mean, I was smiling. I was laughing. Crackheads are funny.
Yeah.
Sad, but the stuff they do is really weird. So, but I was laughing. He looked right at me, and they just turned and looked at the sun, and I got my meal and I took off.
That's not good for his eyes.
No, that's what I thought. It was a really fun drive here.
There's some interesting people here.
This place is something else.
There's a guy who used to show up around I-40 over there, and he would like do karate, and then he would pull his wiener out from his shorts and play with it.
That's super disturbing.
Yeah. Cops would be called and they'd just like shoot him down the road.
No, take your penis out elsewhere, please. Not here.
What did we tell you about diddling your dingle in public?
You gotta go somewhere else and diddle there until we get called again.
You go back to the diddle corner.
The diddle corner.
The diddle dingle corner.
All right.
Yeah, but that's a tough question. I mean, I wouldn't want to see a law about it, but I think it just I mean, that's what I mean. Ultimately, yeah. I mean, I don't want to see people turning. I'm all about fucking people owning firearms. And
I agree. I think everybody who is.
That's why, like, I'm not a huge fan of like people needing help and then being released on the street to their own reconnaissance, and then like you have a bunch of people not on medication. That's what probably led to our homeless problem. Because like schizos, like if they're not taking their medicine, they can't function in
Yeah,
society,
no,
and they become
yeah.
homeless.
Yep.
And then they start self-medicating with like meth and heroin.
Yeah, and fucking heroin. Yeah.
So like on that aspect, I think we need those because like if people aren't capable of taking care of themselves, and we as this rapidly not so rich nation anymore, we should be able to take care of people, and these people should be able to go to places like that and not have to worry about being experimented on. Like if we ever went back to that, to where we actually set up facilities that these people had to go to get help, and somebody was like doing jacked up shit to them, those people should be thrown in prison.
I agree.
Not fine, thrown in prison.
Yeah.
Like make the penalties for messing with these people so bad that it's like, you know what, I'm here to help you, help yourself, get you back on your feet. That I'm fine with that.
Yeah. I
But
think
it's
there
just-
should be mental places of care. I mean, and I don't think
The guys with the white coats and the big nets.
Yeah.
Gotcha. You know where I saw that? Garbage Pail Kids movie.
I can't remember.
Old movie.
I can't remember that movie. I think I saw it. It was weird.
Literally what people in white coats with giant nets.
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't really remember the movie though.
There was this snotty one.
Yeah. I used to have the Garbage Pail Kids cards.
It's
Yeah.
not. It's a horrible movie, but
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I still watched a lot as a kid.
Yeah. Okay. If it's not gun control,
Gun control doesn't work because criminals don't give a shit about guns.
then what is the best way to protect the children at school?
The easy one would be to not spend hundreds of billions of dollars in Ukraine and use money instead to shore up our schools, have armed guards there at limited access points, and possibly start raising our children as more functional people.
No. I
Because
agree.
like I remember, I'm pretty sure when we were still going to school, like early on, there were still rifles in back windows.
Yeah, oh yeah, I think so.
Like we literally, like everyone's talking about guns. Like no, we used to go to school. I think up until Columbine,
Yeah.
really, and there would be shotguns or rifles in people's back windows at school.
Yeah.
High students. You know what didn't happen? Nobody got shot.
No.
So it's not a gun thing. It's like we are raising this society, or this sick culture is raising people that are mentally unstable.
Yeah, what I love is people really like, oh, so you think the answer is more guns?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Because again, the best offense against a bad person with a gun is a good person with a gun.
Yeah. Or
And
just,
I there was a tweet that I said, or maybe it was I don't know, that I said the Uvalde person didn't have resource officer or whatever a person.
no, yeah, they didn't.
they
No,
did.
Uvalde did they?
They did, but he ran away.
In Uvalde?
Yeah.
No, I remember that the cop, I don't know if it was a resource officer, but there was a cop there,
Yeah.
and he didn't take the shot because he was afraid he would get in trouble.
That's right.
Yep. And then so pretty much what we learned is everything they did in Uvalde is wrong, and everything they did at the Nashville shooting is right. You just go in and not murder, because they're murder. You just go in and put down the person that's harming people.
Yeah.
And that dude, the cop with the rifle, looked a little bit like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
A little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit.
It's probably his teeth. His
Yeah.
eyes. But that was a cool dude. Like, he just went in. He's definitely military the way he was talking. But, yeah, they didn't. I don't understand how Uvalde went to such shit. Because that's what happens when you get in. Like, that whole, like, Uvalde, the whole thing was about, like, PC and politics and, like, don't want to get in trouble. Like, that shooter should have been dead before he ever got to the school.
Yeah.
Like, well, I don't want to get in trouble. And then why they didn't go in for an hour, I have no idea. But, like, you know what they do in Tennessee? They just go in and kill the threat.
Yeah. What was it, 14 minutes from the time they called to the time the person
I
was
think from
dead?
the time it started,
Yeah.
like from the first call to her being folded like a lawn chair, done.
Yeah. And just to let you know, you should check out some of those memes.
Oh, yeah. Great memes. I have no respect for school shooters, and I don't give a shit
No.
about. There's not 7 victims there. There are 6 victims and a piece of shit that was
Yes.
put down.
Yep. And I wish he could have been killed twice. I wish all school shooters could die twice.
But here's the thing about that, though. So you look at that shooter, and they show all the previous pictures. He seemed kind of like a nerdy kid. Was an artist. I mean, really, when you heard her talking, seemed like a nice enough person. What the hell, like, got in her head to do that?
Brainwashed.
Seriously. Because really, I mean, granted, she's a piece of shit for what she did. She deserved everything she got. But before that, she seemed like a relatively nice person.
Yeah. And I think it was...
Like, what the fuck?
Brainwash, man. People, you start thinking this whole push for trans. And again, I think there actually are people who are actually, the 0.02% that are actually, feel they're out of the body. But I think it's because you don't feel like you belong, you decide, I will belong with this group because it's now socially acceptable and people will celebrate me.
Well, yeah. Well, and there's also a difference between, like, say you think you are that person, so you dress the other way and actually starting to fuck with hormones.
Yeah.
Because, like, testosterone is it can cause cancer.
Yeah.
Actually, it does cause cancer. I think a lot of these women that try to transition to men have issues with that because it's...
well, it's not natural in the
It's
body.
not called toxic masculinity.
Yeah. Only men can handle their testosterone.
But, like, that's what they're saying, though. Like, this, like, it could drive this, like...
Yeah.
I mean, look at people on steroids. Like, that's all that is. They're jacking up their testosterone.
Yeah.
And some of them go crazy.
Yeah. That's why it's called roid rage.
And you're force-feeding these to women.
And children.
Who aren't used to it. Yeah, I mean...
Children.
I don't know. I think it's dumb.
So, speaking of, this whole culture thing... and I feel this person is probably the biggest fake trans person there is. The new spokesperson for Bud Light, Dylan Mulvaney or whatever.
You didn't have that written down. You remember that dude's name?
Yeah, I just saw it on Twitter like an hour ago because somebody else was getting mad. So this is like a person doing woman face. Like, I feel like it's a caricature.
I think he's fake.
Oh, I do too. I feel like you convinced me today when we were talking about it.
Yeah.
I feel like he's doing a caricature of a woman. It's what he thinks a woman is in the most cartoonish way, and he's doing it because he's getting shit tons of money for doing it.
Yeah, I almost think, like, I don't know if you would call it a con man, but, like, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, he's like, all right, how far can I take this? How much shit can I get? Because he's like a Stepford wife.
Yeah.
Like, you look at him, he dresses and acts like someone from, like, the 30s, way over embellished. And it's not just Bud Light, mister. It's also Nike.
Oh, I know.
That's right, Nike. Have a dude sell more sports bras and yoga pants for you.
Well, I was listening today, and do you think...
Did you see the video of that?
What's that? Yeah,
the
sports bra.
He's like...
You're a flat-chested dude. You weigh 110 pounds.
What woman does that?
No.
Everything about all his videos are so over the top. That's why I think it's fake. Could be wrong.
If there is one liberal woman ever watching this, please tell me why you think this guy should be celebrated. Why you think he should be your representative as Woman of the Year or whatever the shit else.
I thought it was funny how to celebrate your 360th days of womanhood, here's a beer. I'm like, so you basically just gave a beer to a 1-year-old girl?
Yeah.
What the shit?
I just goes to prove that all the best women
like
are men.
That dude is just so over the top. That's what just... I might be wrong, but I'm just saying.
It's if I was a woman,
it seems like an act.
If I was a woman, I'd be insulted. It was like those movies back in like the 50s where like the white dudes would paint their face black and act like a black person, only every stereotype there is.
Oh yeah, like
and
well, it's almost like what do they call it?
This is going to be like blackface in 20 years.
It's like the difference between an actor in a movie and an actor on a stage.
Yeah.
I think it's called like theatrical acting or something like that. But it's like just way
over the top.
It's, I don't know. And then freaking Jack Daniels. Did you see the trans commercial, or not trans? Now they're doing the drag queens.
What?
Yeah. Drag queen commercials.
What the fuck?
Then at the end of the commercial, it's all weird and awkward, and this hillbilly moonshiner comes in and bibs. Hey, I'll hang out with you, ladies. Oh shit, you got a wiener. I mean, he didn't say that, but I mean,
It'd be way funnier if you did.
I'm just saying.
Like, holy shit, you got a wiener.
If you like when a movie ends or commercial, I was like, I wonder in that reality how it panned out. I'm pretty sure that's what. Well, gee gone diggity, that's a wiener.
So let me ask you this: do you believe it's this? Like they actually believe this shit, and they think this will help their sales, or do you think it's about their ESG score?
I think it's I don't know. I said it was ESG earlier. It's something else, but it's put on by some bullshit George Soros thing. It has to do with the score.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it has to do with money or they're trying to. I do know that the left has made it to where you either agree with all this woke ass stupid bullshit or you don't. There is no like being in the middle. You're either on our side or you're a far right.
But there is a middle. That where most of America is in the middle.
Not to the left. And that they have
but most of these companies gotta know.
But the problem is they have people in finance, they have people all over the place. So it's like they can now I don't know what they're gonna do. Like people seriously, like if you don't agree with this stuff and what's going on, and like then you need to stop buying Budweiser. I'm not saying Anheuser-Busch because probably not going to stop drinking Busch Light unless they start putting lipstick on the fish on the cans.
No.
But, like, seriously, like, if you don't agree with it, don't buy Jack Daniels. Don't stop buying Nike shit. Stop buying Bud Light stuff. Like, that's...
What do you say when somebody says, oh, I thought you didn't believe in cancel culture?
I don't believe in cancel culture. I just don't believe in giving money to a company that I don't agree with.
Yeah, it's not
to this day, ever since Carhartt did a vaccine mandate, I have not bought anything from Carhartt.
I buy Dickies.
Yeah. No, like it's not, I'm not boycotting them. I don't agree with how they run their company and their
I agree.
And their values, so I'm not going to buy from them. That's not a boycott.
No.
I'm not trying to change them. I'm done with them.
Yeah.
It's like if they're going to business, cool.
Yeah, I'm not yelling at them. I mean, I guess we are.
But... Are they going to suck the vaccine out of their employees?
I'm not telling you not to buy it, but I just believe if you don't believe in it and you feel that strongly about it, don't buy their thing. If you don't really care, I would say I'm not telling you to do what the hell I'm not advocating either way. You do what you think is best.
I think it's fair to say though that probably a majority of the country is tired of all this bullshit. So if you're actually tired of it, you have to hit them in the pocketbook.
Like I'm just tired
Matt Walsh was saying that like the whole go woke, go broke thing isn't real. I mean, Disney took a pretty big hit.
Disney took a huge hit.
But now people can't forget, like, if they're doing this shit, because, like I said, they have financial incentives to do this stuff, to totally alienate their customer base. Because what they're trying to do is, I think it's all about dividing the nation, making it weaker, and all this. I think that's what the ultimate goal is. Because the ultimate goal at the end of the day is communism taking over. I mean, that's where it all lands. It's not conspiracy theory. That's literally what's happening.
Yup.
But they try to normalize this shit, and then they just separate and they keep separating. Because if right now all the people that are like, okay, pretty much if you're the Constitution, Bill of Rights, America, you're a piece of shit and you're part of the problem that's tearing this country apart. And when America's divided, I don't know, look around the world.
Yeah. Yep.
And that leads into your last. Oh no, you got the Trump reign.
Yeah. So speaking of communism, and fascism, Trump was indicted and arraigned. He had 34 counts.
Like a boss. He did like a boss.
He had 34 counts of bullshit. Basically, it was like he falsified information to cover up a crime. All 34 counts was the same one, but they never said what the initial crime was he was covering up.
It's because they're still looking for it.
So I don't understand how it even passed the grand jury. I mean, I do because it's New York and they were cherry-picked fucking, it's Trump, so... we'll find a bunch of Trump haters, and that's how we'll get them. But how does the judge not throw this out?
Because the judge is also a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like he is.
Oh, I know.
He's an anti-Trumper.
Yeah, he funded a group that was, like, liberals to go against Trump.
The first thing I would do if I was his lawyer, besides me for putting him for dismissal, is a change of venue.
Yeah, I don't know if they want to run it.
Because obviously...
Yeah, they already want to go like Staten Island.
Well, and then like the
That's a
funny
little more
thing
purple.
is the people in Georgia are pissed off, and I bet the feds, because Braggs is such a douche. He's like, they're making it happen, and it's not just Trump's not going to be able to save the country. Can he make things better and hopefully send us on a path to make things better? Yeah, I bet he could.
Maybe.
But look at it, like there's shit coming out to where, and I think it's had to do with possibly aliens, but like there is more and more evidence coming out that the CIA actually killed Kennedy.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't what's his face.
Lee Harvey Oswald?
Yeah, like it was the CIA.
No, I think we figured that out when Jack Ruby killed him immediately after.
Well, yeah. But like that's what kind of makes me worried then, because he's pushing against the system. Like it's time for a reset or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because he's against the swamp. That's what the problem is about this whole thing. This is why Trump was a Democrat until like 2006.
And because up until like the last 10 years or so, really, since Obama,
yeah, that's when
Democrats
he switched over.
were still reasonably normal.
Yeah, he was, when he first became a Republican, first thought about running as president as a Republican was 2012.
That's what someone said, he couldn't run.
Yeah.
And they laughed at him. He's like, "Oh, look at you."
Yeah, then he did, and he won. Then he did again, and he lost. Lost. Completely the most, what do they call it? The election was the most fair and
Secure
and fair and secure.
Same election where they literally found boxes of ballots in ditches.
Hey, stop speaking things like that.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Just because,
It almost was
they
like
black out windows
it's almost
so
like
people
the
couldn't
Georgia
look in
case
while
where he's like, "Hey," that's why the Georgia case won't stick too, because all he says is, "You need to find all the votes, like the votes that have been thrown in ditches."
Yeah. Very secure.
I don't know.
Democracy at its best.
It's bullshit. It's just another way of chipping away at the institutions.
So,
because like, here's the thing about Braggs. So like, this dude is like letting, like, he lowered like I don't know how many felonies down to misdemeanors and all this shit. He's like, we ain't just we prosecute white collar crimes here because white collar crimes are really the ones that like end lives and destroy families, and
this is
and some of them do, like the ones that rip people off. But it's like, so we ain't gonna let this stay in New York, but that guy who just raped 6 people and killed that person, we're gonna go ahead and let him go. Like, what the fuck ever.
What I like is that Stormy Daniels chick. She owes Trump over $500,000. I think he only paid her $160,000 if he actually
NDA.
Yeah. So far she's going to have to pay him like 4 times as much money as she got paid.
That's what happens when you mess with the Donald.
Oh my God, that's funny. This whole thing's a witch hunt. It's a farce, and this is going to open up a can of worms I don't think the Democrats are going to enjoy. This is like when they ended the filibuster on Supreme Court nominations, and that's why we ran through.
Well, that's what's funny, because Democrats are super smart, and the people like
they're horrible.
They're super like smart and manipulating, getting their way. And like whoever's running the left who has been manipulating the country the last 40 years and has totally destroyed our culture and is bringing down the country. They're actually pretty smart, but it's like they never. For one thing, the one thing they never count on is you can try to like calculate what someone's going to do here and there, but you can't account for that American factor. Like, when it gets to a certain point, even the biggest dumbasses in this country are going to wake up, and that's what they can't account for. And that's what generally, I think, is ultimately going to fuck up the whole plan.
I hope so.
There are a lot of stupid motherfuckers in this country. Anybody who's like, my child's trans, you're a horrible parent. But
yes,
like, I think like that's not the majority. It's just what's popular in the media. That's what's allowed to be talked about on social media. So I think ultimately that's the X factor. I mean, because like, okay, so Chicago got rid of Lori Lightfoot and elected a way more progressive. And it's just like there's something off about that dude. The new mayor of Chicago.
Yeah.
That dude's touched.
Basically, he's Lori Lightfoot with a penis.
But worse.
Yeah. So way to go, Chicago. You got rid of a horrible mayor to bring in a more horrible person.
I feel sorry for the life loss and the people like who are like
Get
actual
out of Chicago.
direct
If you can hear us in
victims of crime.
Chicago, get out.
But like, I don't feel sorry for like the people left behind at all. Like, you brought this shit on yourselves. You guys are fucking stupid. Like in all these big cities, keep voting for progressive Democrats, and I don't want to hear bitching about you. Hey, if I take
Well, didn't he get the
my
most?
car was robbed.
Didn't he get the most votes from the areas with the most crime?
Yeah, no, you get what you deserve.
Doesn't even make sense.
I'm not saying it's the
Maybe-
windy
well-
city, but I'm just saying, like, have fun.
I don't get it. I don't get what's going on. I don't understand how people can be so manipulated into thinking. It might have been a race thing. Wasn't the other guy white?
I don't remember. I just know that the police department backed the other guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess.
And the other guy's like, I'm going to defund the police even more because we don't have enough crime in Chicago.
Yeah. Ridiculous. So, all right. Well, let's move on. One more thing I want to get to. Russia and China are now becoming friends. Like,
Dear friends.
dear friends, good friends. Like, they're trading with each other in Chinese currency, I think.
Yes.
And also, so is Brazil. And I think there's Saudi Arabia might be doing that.
There's
with
a
China.
lot of people moving away from the U.S. dollar.
Yeah.
Thanks, Biden.
Yeah. Plus, Finland it just joined NATO. Russia is now moving nuclear weapons into Belarus. How far are we from World War III?
I don't know how close we are to World War III. I know we're pretty close to. I don't know if we'd be in World War III as much as we're going to be at war with China with probably the next 5 years.
I would guess we're in a war with China. We're in World War III.
Yeah. I just like the.
I
only
feel like
thing
if
don't
we're in
like
a war
about
with anybody,
now-
we're in war. I'd like another power, not like Iraq or.
Well, here's what I don't understand, and like how they allowed the Ukraine war to go on as long as they did without squashing it and doing some kind of peace treaty. Is there are so many nukes, unless we actually do have some badass technology that we don't know about? What the fuck?
I just saw that Germany and France are trying to get Ukraine and Russia to talk to put an end to the ceasefire.
Probably 'cause
Weirdly-
it's getting a little close to Germany. And,
Well, I mean, weirdly, the one country not in there is the U.S.
yeah, because there's I don't know what it is. I don't know if they're pushing us to World War III.
Watch our
You know
Ukraine
that-
episode.
That's right, Ukraine.
It's
I do know that
fantastic.
there's a lot of shady shit with Biden and China.
Yeah,
Like a lot.
there's a lot of big shady shit. Biden Ukraine.
Yeah, like there's. It's just weird. Like that's why nobody respects America right now.
No,
And
I barely do.
Yeah, I don't respect our government. Not
No.
the current people running it.
I used to have a love for this. I
I
don't
love
know
the
about
country.
Love the country. Never really liked the government.
No, even when Trump was in, I still didn't like the government because he fucking banned bump stocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
You never trust your government. We are supposed. The government is supposed to be us. We are self-governing.
The government is supposed to work
and
for us, not
went
us for the
away a
government.
long time ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if Finland brings in NATO. Ooh, thanks.
Oh, they're right next to Russia. So
Yeah, but it's like, ooh, thanks.
basically, we're doing it to antagonize Russia, I think.
I don't know. I just think
I don't know.
we're
All I
fire.
know is we're NATO. I mean, basically.
Yeah, we are NATO. We've split, like,
Remember when we got
70%.
out of NATO?
Yeah, that was nice.
Then, even when we were out of NATO, Putin still didn't invade Ukraine.
Because Putin was going to fuck with Trump.
I'm saying, isn't that funny that we backed out of NATO, and at that point would have been easy for Putin to attack NATO countries, but he wouldn't do it because he still thought Trump would fuck him up.
Well, yeah, Trump told him, like, if you attack Ukraine, I'm going to bomb Moscow.
Boom.
And it's like, oh, he wouldn't do that, would he?
Would he? You don't know. So,
Yeah, I just know that Trump lost. Biden won,
Yeah.
and the entire world went to shit.
weird how that happens.
But it's Trump's fault.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, they just try to blame Afghanistan on the shitty recall of all our troops from Afghanistan and the takeover by the Taliban. Trump's fault.
You know, they can try to blame it on all they want. You can't tell me that if they're going to do a stupid ass pullout like that, so they can get into war with Ukraine, and I guarantee you that was probably in the back burner. I'm just saying there might be something there. You can't tell me they couldn't have blown that base up. At least to where we weren't giving up all those arms.
I don't understand it either.
Can't blame that on Trump. I mean,
I know
they
we
did,
have
but
explosives.
So I don't know. I just know that Trump's gone. World's going to shit. So I'm not saying he's a savior. The only savior is Jesus Christ. Woo!
JC.
But
Oh yeah, happy Easter, everybody.
yeah, happy Easter. Hope y'all.
Oh, I hope you had a happy Easter.
Yeah, I hope you
By
had
the time
a
this comes
happy
out,
Easter
yeah.
because it's be after.
Yeah. So.
And if you went out and bought one of those big extravagant Easter baskets, that's not what Easter is about.
No, but the bunnies are good.
Yep, the bunnies and the eggs were actually stolen from Wiccans.
Yeah, but Cadbury eggs.
So was the Christmas tree, by the way.
Yeah, I know. A lot of our holidays are a mixture of a bunch of different things, but it's the meaning of Easter, the resurrection of Christ.
Yeah, it's like rebirth. So
Yeah,
it kinda
so-
fits.
Try to rebirth yourself and become a better person, and try to
A
help
less
your, and try to help your
manipulated
and,
person.
Yeah, try to help your neighbor and make them smart on everything. Show them our podcast.
Yeah.
It'd be a rebirth for them. We will rebirth you.
Yeah, there you go. You either have more or less friends. Can't guarantee which one it'll be.
It doesn't matter. Who needs that many people in their lives?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
give your friends and family the best Easter present ever. Tell them about our podcast.
Yeah, I think.
So I think that's about it.
Yeah, I don't think I got anything else.
No. I'm gonna crack a little beer real quick.
Crack
So
one last beer.
So everybody drink with me. That was an amazing episode. So yeah, let's end this.
All right.
I'm Kevin,
And I'm Josh.
and this was The Lost Art of Common Sense.
Common sense.
Common sense.
Common sense. We'll see you next week.